You can go anywhere in the world and show that picture, and people will tell you that Edison invented the light bulb. Truth is, it's a bit of an overstatement. The light bulb was invented about 80 years before, first as arc lighting. The first incandescent bulb was about 60 years before, but that's not to take anything away from Thomas's contribution, because he actually made it practical. He developed a long-lasting filament that would allow the bulb to last long enough to be of value. 2,000 patents later, asked to look back on his career and pick his favorite invention. You might think it was that, it wasn't. He picked the phonograph, but I have a different favorite. My favorite is the one that actually made that useful. Because without something to put the light bulb into, it isn't of much value, is it? Thomas's contribution was not just to create the bulb, but to create the entire electric power generation and distribution industry, from the generators to the metering, to the cables, to the switches, to the standardization of plugs. All of these things created a wealth of opportunities, not just for his own inventiveness, but as we look at what unfolded from roughly 1880, when the bulb was introduced, and 1884, when he rolled out the Pearl Street Station in New York, over a period of about 40 years, you can see that the availability, anywhere you look, of power was awesome in terms of reinventing and reimagining almost every product you could think of, from home appliances. The flat iron becomes an electric iron. Treadle sewing machines become electric power sewing machines. Electric stoves and ovens and fans, mass transportation systems, elevators, all the way through HVAC systems, all of made possible because you could go anywhere and plug your thing in, and now you weren't dependent on water power, wind power, steam generated from a central coal station power plant. You now had scalable distributed power. So what does that teach us about the present? You know, we study history because the past should inform our future, but it's often difficult to pull away the context of the stovepipe hats and the beards and mustaches and figure out how all of that can inform us in present time. I would suggest that we're now at a point in history where some 70 years past the invention of the digital computer, the exciting stuff is just about to happen. The Internet of Things. The idea that it's not just computers as something that we use as data appliances, but the availability of high-speed networking, megabit, gigabit, anywhere you can stand on the planet, that can connect smart devices to even smarter devices on the back end, in the cloud, infinite storage, and infinite compute capacity. Now it allows us to then use all that data, not just to have numbers, but to have intelligence, to be able to extract patterns where we don't yet know laws of science, even though they exist, and to be able to use that to make smart decisions. There's probably no better place to invoke that kind of capability than to deal with some of the problems and challenges that we have of modern urban living. As we stream back into the cities, reverse a trend that is perhaps, some 50, 60 years old, how are we going to deal with crumbling, aging infrastructure and create the kind of environments that are livable and attractive? These are the sort of things that are easy to talk about, but not always easy to understand and to imagine just by words. And it's also difficult to think about how we're going to function in that kind of a world. How are we as people going to begin to communicate in a world that has 6 or 7 times the number of devices as us? So one of the elements that allows us to do this is wearable computing technology. And we're fortunate today to have in our incubator, the Enterprise Development Center, an imaginative company that has the latest in wearable technology. And they've allowed me to bring it out tonight for the first time. They're called Shades. And they not only have the usual visual projection, virtual projection, camera, a bone microphone, a conductive microphone, they have a unique feature. And that unique feature is time travel. And so with that, I'm going to be able to take you to Newark in 2020. Instead of listening to me talk about the city of the future, let's take a trip to Newark in the year 2020. Okay, Shades, take me away.
I didn't realize how late it's gotten. I have an interview at edible.com in 15 minutes, and I really want this job. Okay, Shades, what's my driving time to Edible's offices on Broad Street?
Downtown traffic is at a standstill. City water sensors indicate that there is a water main break on Market Street. Here is the police traffic drone view. I recommend taking a taxi to Broad Street Station and the light rail to Washington Park. You can then walk 2 blocks to your destination.
Okay, Shades. Call me a goober taxi.
I have placed the order and driver R2 is responding to your request. He will be here momentarily. Because of the congestion, Goober fares show a surge pricing of 1.25. Is that acceptable?
Yes, of course. A few extra dollars won't matter if I get this job. Accept the fare, please.
Your Goober taxi has arrived and is waiting out front.
Right, I see it. Let's go, R2. There's a 5-star rating in it for you if we catch the next train.
Driver R2 says, I'm on it, boss, but you need to pay the ticket if we get pinched by the speed bot.
Don't worry. You're not the droid they're looking for.
Driver R2 says, buckle up and hang on. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
I was in such a rush to get going that I think I forgot to lock the front door on the way out. Okay, Shades. Check the status of my front door lock, please.
I am checking now. Kia reports that the main door is currently unlocked.
Okay, Shades. Set main door status to locked.
Kia reports that the main door is now locked and there have been no entry since your departure.
That's a relief. Okay, Shades. How much longer to the next downtown train from Broad Street?
I am checking now. The next train will arrive at the station in 1 minute and 45 seconds. You should be at the station as the train arrives. You have a new message from the Newark Parking Authority.
Your car has been detected in the street sweeping zone on James Street. Please move it immediately to avoid a fine and towing charges.
Okay, Shades. Show me open parking spots within a 1-block drive of my car's current location.
I am checking now. There are currently 4 spots open on Eagles Street. Here is a map.
Okay, Shades. Connect me to my car's onboard pilot system.
Sync drive activated.
Okay, car. Move your location to the first open spot on Eagle Street.
Move request acknowledged. Autopilot engaged.
How much longer to the next downtown train from Broad Street?
The next train will arrive at the station in 1 minute.
Move complete. Autopilot disengaged. Sync deactivating.
Your car is parked in an auto-metered spot. The rate is $1 per hour. It will be billed to your Easy Park account. Thank you.
We should be close to the station now. Okay, Shades. How much more time until the train arrives?
The next train will arrive at the station in 20 seconds.
I can see it coming now. I need to run for it, or I won't make it. The next train isn't for 10 minutes, and then I'll be late. R2, you can let me out here, and thanks for the speedy service.
Thank you for using Goober Taxi. Please take a moment to rate our driver.
Okay, Shades. Please give R2 a 5-star rating.
The Penn Station train has arrived on track 1.
Wow, just made it.
Easy Rail entry recorded at Broad Street Station.
I'm so glad they got rid of that old ticketing system. I would never have made this train if I had to buy a ticket and timestamp it before I got on.
Riverfront Stadium is the next station. Your stop is Washington Park Station. You will arrive at your stop in approximately 2 minutes.
Listen to that. I wonder what's going on in the stadium today. Okay, Shades. Show me the live video stream from Riverfront Stadium.
Connecting now.
Walk-off home run. Way to go, Highlanders. I haven't seen a game in ages. I wonder when they play next. Okay, Shades. Show me the Highlander baseball schedule for this week.
Searching now.
Oh, good. They're playing a conference game with North Florida tomorrow. That may decide the Atlantic Sun pennant. I hope it's not sold out already. Okay, Shades. Show me available seating for the North Florida game tomorrow night.
Searching now.
I see all the field level boxes are sold out already. Section 113 looks like the best available seats on the home team side. Okay, Shades. Show me the field view from Section 113.
Searching now.
Looks good. Okay, Shades. Reserve 2 seats for tomorrow night's game and charge it to my NetX account.
Transaction complete. Here is your receipt. Washington Park Station is the next stop. Please prepare to depart the train.
Mahler Florist wants to remind you to buy roses for your anniversary next week. We have a special sale on the coral roses that are your wife's favorite.
You are arriving at Washington Park Station. Please exit the train and turn to your left.
Easy Rail exit recorded at Washington Park Station. 75-cent one-way fare has been billed to your account. Thank you for riding New Jersey Light Rail. Have a nice day.
Okay, Shades, where do I go now?
Walk to the intersection ahead, turn left and cross Broad Street. Excuse me, you have a time-sensitive message from Public Service Gas and Electric.
Your REST thermostat indicates that your house has been unoccupied for 15 minutes. May we adjust the temperature to conserve energy?
Oh, of course. I was in such a rush to get this interview that I forgot to set it back when I left. Okay, Shades, connect to my REST control system.
Connecting now.
REST thermostat awaiting your instructions, sir.
Okay, REST. Grant control to PSGE until I return home tonight.
Thermostat now set to external override mode, and the utility has been granted access. Do travel safely and see you tonight, sir.
Your health record shows that you are due for a flu shot. Our medical offices are open late tonight. We accept Horizon insurance, with no copay.
Okay, Shades. Put a reminder on my calendar to make an appointment with Dr. Ortez as soon as you can fit it in.
Your appointment is confirmed for next Tuesday at 9 in the morning. Your destination is directly across the street. You have a call from Mr. Waverly's office.
Mr. Waverly is unable to meet with you today. However, he asked me to tell you that after reviewing all the candidates, you were the only one with the qualifications he was seeking. Our Human Resources Department will be in touch with you tomorrow with an offer, and he hopes that you can start work immediately. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow, that's never happened to me before. Time to celebrate. Okay, Shades, show me the route to the nearest tavern.
You have several friends at the Edison tap room. You can be there in 10 minutes.
On second thought, I'd rather be with my family. They should all be home by now. Okay, Shades, call me a goober taxi.
You are a goober taxi.
Real funny. Now you're a comedian. Never mind all that. Just get me home.
Wow. Coach seating for time travel hasn't gotten any better. So, flight of fancy? The truth is that virtually everything that I use in each one of those vignettes is a product that's available today. Not integrated, not fully functional, but it's certainly not impossible that by the year 2020, we could put those things together. But it's going to take some work. So we have all of these smart devices. How are we going to separate the frauds and the fads from the ones that really have staying power? If we look back in time, do we learn anything from the dot-com era? This collection of what seem to be great ideas represent several $1 billion worth of investment that went nowhere. Companies that in many cases closed their doors within a matter of months, certainly no more than a few years. I would argue that out of the world of engineering, we have this concept of scale-up that hasn't existed in the world of software. How do you go from an idea through stages that actually show it's feasible, and in this case actually show there's a market by which people are willing to buy it? So not only is it technologically possible, but there's actually a commercial basis for the business in mind. Our proposition is to use Newark as a living laboratory, to make it an open standard environment where people with ideas can plug and play, much like an app developer can plug into a rich set of services on their iPhone or their Android. We want to create an environment where with multiple frequencies and modalities for network communication, with virtualized interfaces into cloud storage, which is a rich set of analytic tools, people with ideas can come in and use Newark as a place to try them out. And if that works, guess what happens? We start to have those companies locating here because, in fact, they need to be close to where the action is for their business. They start to create employment bases. As these companies start to take off, you need installers, you need service technicians, you start to manufacture devices. It's not just about software, it's about hardware. Now you create manufacturing jobs. And we know from experience that manufacturing has a leverage that creates 4 to even 6 new jobs in the private sector outside of the manufacturing concern directly. And now you start to have the power of multiplication that really can be part of a contribution to the resurgence of Newark, and if you will, Newark becomes the embodiment of the urban phoenix. Thank you all.